Yo, this is the shit that makes me sick. Stories like this. So the link to this article is located in the video description box underneath. And once again, like I said, these are the things that makes me sick. This past Monday, May 1st, 2023, a 30-year-old so-called black male, a homeless so-called black male, was choked to death in a New York City subway train. This black male's name was Jordan Neely, who is known to be a Michael Jackson impersonator and who would impersonate Michael Jackson out in a New York City subway in exchange to get money for so he can eat and what have you. But according to different articles, the situation started when Neely, once again, he was homeless. He went inside of a New York City subway train, specifically the F train that was in Manhattan. For those of you who live in New York, who's familiar with the subway system in New York City, uh, and he was screaming in the New York City subway train, and even went as far as to take his jacket off and slam it on the floor, and saying that, "Hey, I'm ready to die. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I haven't eaten. I'm ready to die." So yeah, he was screaming and going crazy, right? And what happened next is that a 24-year-old Caucasian male just came out of nowhere and did a chokehold on this person and kept it kept him on a chokehold on the floor for 15 minutes. And the incident was actually recorded on video as a freelance journalist who was in that train cart grabbed his phone and recorded the whole situation, right? So for 15 minutes, the motherfucking Caucasian, right, in which the media or police haven't publicly displayed this person's name yet, choked this brother to death. And, well, this past Wednesday, on May 3rd, 2023, the medical examiners ruled Jordan Neely a victim of homicide as his neck was compressed, thus preventing oxygen from entering his body. Sounds familiar? Sounds sorry to laugh, but it sounds all too familiar. Where so-called black males are being choked to death. Now, granted, according to what witnesses said about Jordan Neely, he was going crazy. He was screaming and yelling. But according to witnesses, he never attacked anybody. So I get it. Me experience riding on a New York City subway train and experience seeing crazy people. I understand if you see a person who's, homeless and who's 9 times out of 10 mentally ill, because most homeless people in New York are mentally ill, right? So I understand when they're young, screaming, and acting all erratic. And I'll even go as far as to say that I agree when it comes to people utilizing certain ways to restrain a person if they feel that that person is becoming a threat. But you don't restrain a person by choking them. There's plenty of ways to restrain a person outside of choking them. And supposedly, this 24-year-old Caucasian male who put Jordan Neely in a chokehold and killed him was supposed to be a veteran Marine. Now, so basically a military veteran. So if you're a military veteran, you're supposed to be skilled in fighting and skilled in also in restraining somebody. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys, those of you guys who are current or former military men or women, and you was not taught how to properly restrain someone, let me know. But what I was told, see, I've never been in the military, but I have plenty of friends and family members who have been in the military. And what I've been told is that people in the military are properly trained to fight, kill, and to restrain people. So, with that being said, there's a better way to restrain someone without having to choke that person. Especially when such person, such as Jordan Neely, did not physically attack anyone. Yes, he was screaming. This person was screaming. This person was acting erratic. This person was going crazy. But that's not enough to choke someone to the point that he loses his life. And what is so disrespectful about this whole situation is that, for one, like I said before, it seems as if the media and police is protecting the person who killed Jordan Neely by not disclosing this person's name. That's one. Two, no one has been arrested for this crime, although this situation was caught on video. So there's video footage of this 24-year-old former military veteran choking Jordan Neely to death. Yet, no one has been arrested for this crime. And this happened about 4 days ago. Caught on video. But nobody has been yet arrested for this situation. Now, you know goddamn well, if the roles was reversed and a so-called black male was caught on video choking a so-called white male to death, somebody would have been arrested instantly. Somebody would have been arrested instantly if that happened. And also, right, if this situation goes to trial, let's just say the 24-year-old Caucasian who choked Mr. Neely to death actually gets arrested and this situation goes on trial, right? Now, the thing is that, according to other sources, this person already hired a lawyer. Thus, he's prepared to defend himself in a court of law. So what I'm saying is that if this situation goes to trial, the thing is that due to the New York State law of self-defense being somewhat what word am I looking for? Yeah, there's a word that I'm looking for when it comes to describing the self-defense law in New York State, right? To me, there's a level of ambiguity. Ambiguity? Is that the correct word? When it comes to the self-defense law in New York State? So I'm going to read this in this article when it briefly mentions self-defense in the state of New York, right? It says this: under New York law, because I'm not going to read this article to you, the whole article to you guys. If you guys are interested in reading this article, you're going to have to read it for yourselves. Once again, the link to this article is located in the video description box underneath. But in this paragraph, it says, under New York law, a person may use physical force on another person if they have a reasonable belief that it is necessary to defend themselves or others. But a person can only use deadly physical force if they have a reason to believe that an attacker is doing or about to do the same. So based on that, right, a defense attorney, based on that, you could utilize loopholes in order to defend a person such as the 24-year-old Caucasian who choked Mr. Neely to death, and use the New York State law of self-defense and trying to utilize the loopholes to your advantage to make it seem as if the 24-year-old Caucasian had a reasonable belief that Jordan Neely was going to attack somebody, therefore trying to justify him choking Neely to death. That's exactly how this is going to play if this situation goes to trial. And what is so fucked up about it is that the person, once again, the person who choked Mr. Neely to death, his name have not yet been publicly disclosed yet. But like I said before, what makes this worse is that if this person, once again, the person who choked Mr. Neely to death, have a very good lawyer to make these loopholes, they might end up getting away with it and be found not guilty in the court of law. Hell, don't be surprised if this is a repeat of 2014 when Eric Garner from Staten Island, New York, was choked to death by an NYPD officer named Daniel Pentelio, while the entire situation was caught on video. And the case did not even, and the officer did not even get indicted because the city of New York found that him choking Eric Garner to death was quote unquote justified. Don't be surprised if this happened and this situation does not even go to trial. That's why earlier in this video I said if this situation goes to trial, because it could be a possible situation where this situation does not go to trial and the courts in New York believe that this situation was justified. Therefore, this Caucasian dude walks out scotch-free. This is very well a possibility in which I wish that that doesn't happen. But the reality is this can be a possibility. And this is the shit that makes me sick. What up with these situations where black males are being choked by these Caucasians, man? And then what makes me sick when I watch the video is that while Jordan Neely was on the floor, held in a chokehold, being in a chokehold, you had other passengers in the subway train helping this 24-year-old restrain Jordan Neely while he was choked to death. And no one else in the train car did anything about it. Now, once again, granted, this individual, Jordan Neely, was going crazy on a subway train. So I get the need to restrain this individual or even kick the motherfucker out. But once again, there are other ways to restrain someone without having to choke that person, without having to choke them, without having to prevent them from breathing. And these people fail to do that. So when I saw in the video where you had other passengers in the train assisting in restraining Jordan Neely while he was being choked to death and no one else did anything about it, it made me sick to my stomach. Because if I was in that train station, if I was in that train car, that shit wouldn't have happened. I'd probably be the one being in jail having to kill somebody to protect this brother, Jordan Neely. The fuck? Nah, man, this is fucked up. This is some fucked up shit. But meanwhile, in the so-called black manosphere, you have niggas that's more worried about some bitch that's talking about how she wouldn't date a bus driver. But yet, we see more and more examples of so-called black males being executed like this. As a matter of fact, like this paragraph says right here, is that medical examiners ruled Jordan Neely's death a homicide. It's ruled a homicide by medical examiners, but Based on what I've read from different articles, if this situation goes to trial, then the person who choked Jordan Neely, in which once again this person's name have not yet been disclosed to the public, but he'll be charged with manslaughter. He'll be charged with manslaughter. You know, in which personally I say that this motherfucker deserved first degree murder, or deserved to be charged with first degree murder. But then again, if you're going to charge someone with first degree murder, you have to prove that the person who did the killing actually planned the killing before he did it. That's the thing with first degree murder. You have to actually have proof that a person planned to kill. Well, according in most states in the United States, in order to charge someone with first degree murder, you have to actually prove that that this person not only killed the victim, but that this person plotted to kill this victim before he did it. Outside of that, you have to charge this person with manslaughter or second degree murder, right? Which is fucked up. But this shit is fucked up altogether. Well, you know, once again, the link to this article is located in the video description box underneath. If you're interested to know more about this situation, you know, I like the New York Times because the New York Times is very detailed when it comes to giving a story, because most articles will only give you like a one to 2 minute or 1 or 2 paragraphs when it comes to a certain thing, when things like this takes more than 1 or 2 paragraphs in order for you to have enough information about the said situation. But anyhow, I'm out of here, man. Y'all have a great day or night, depending on whichever time of day you're watching this video. You guys be safe out there, man. Shoot, this world is getting crazier and crazier.